Hi and welcome back everyone. Galactic Storyteller going over with you today very important information on how to detect whether or not you've got negative energies and entities in your biometric field and your house, and secondly how to clear them. I've been gone for a couple of weeks. We had some family things that we needed to take care of, but I have missed you. I'm glad to be back and we are jumping right in today. Now, while I was gone, we happened to be in a home in New York that was built in the 1800s. It has a lot of history. It also had a lot of entities that needed to be taken care of, 4 to be exact. 3 were willing to go, 1 was showing resistance. So I think many of us are aware of the fact that there is a very serious spiritual war going on. We feel those energy shifts and changes, and it's very important that we are self-aware. We're aware of what's going on with our mind, body, spirit, with our auric field, with our etheric field, our astral field, and that we make sure that our living space is as clean as it possibly can be. So I'm going to give you guys some shamanic tips and methods for how to detect whether or not you've got negative energies in your environment and how to cleanse them. So first we're going to talk about lemons. I love lemons. Lemons are amazing. They're great cleansers for inside and for outside. I start every morning with organic lemon water because it is a great way to get your system starting to cleanse and function after sitting and resting all night, a little bit stagnant. So it's a nice cleanser for the inside, but also you can use this to detect whether or not your environment has negative energies. When you take a lemon and you sit it out in a room, and I would recommend putting a lemon, at least one, in every room so that you can double check and make sure everything is good. If you've got negative energies, the lemon inside of a couple of days will start to turn green, kind of like a fuzzy green. It can also start to get black and splotchy. It'll look like little dots all over it. Then you know you've got some issues there that require that you take care of it, okay? Now, if everything is okay, the lemon is going to age naturally. It's actually going to start to turn brown. It'll be an even brown, and it looks like a little gourd. Over the course of time, it will shrivel up inside so you can hear the seeds rattling around. It sounds like a little gourd. It looks like a little gourd. If that's what happens to your lemon, you know you're doing something right. Okay, so use a lemon to detect whether or not the environment in your house and in your workspace is actually a good one, or if now we need to go over some methods to take care of those energies. So let's talk about some cleansing methods. When I was studying with the Nez Perce and the Lakota, we covered many methods in order to cleanse the energies, and I'm going to share some of my favorites with you. This actually is a very cheap method, but it's very effective. This is sea salt. You can use regular iodized salt if that's what you've got. Salt is salt unless you're going to eat it. Okay, don't eat the iodized stuff. But sea salt is amazing, and there are 2 main ways that you can use salt in order to cleanse your environment. You can use a dry salt, just put it in a little ramekin or maybe a bowl and stick them in the corners of your home. Okay, do every room because salt is a great cleanser. Think about when you're in the ocean. For some reason, you just feel good. When you get out of the ocean, you feel nice and open and cleansed. We also use Epsom salt to cleanse our body when we need a foot bath or when we need to relax and maybe give our immune system a boost. Then we use Epsom salt. So Salt is a great way to cleanse the environment. There is a wet salt method that is traditionally done with the Japanese. They've been doing this method for centuries. What you'll do is you'll take a little bowl and you'll just dump a healthy portion of dry salt in here. And then with some boiling water, you'll dump the boiling water in here, usually in about 5-10 minutes after you stir it up a bit. The salt will dissolve, and then you can put your salt water in every room. Water is a great conductor. And of course, when you have salt water, then you've got a great conductor for cleansing. So try this method. It's really an easy one. It's not expensive at all, and it's highly effective. Love the salt water. Now, one of my favorite methods for cleansing is the white sage. You cannot go wrong with white sage. Okay, so let's talk about entities for just a moment. When I was at this house and there were those 4 entities that needed to go, there was one in particular that was quite resistant. I had taken my supplies into a bedroom and I had dumped them out on the bed. I was getting ready to start the process of cleansing this home. And this woman entity said to me audibly, and I quote, "You're not getting rid of me." And I looked up and I just kind of said to her, "Okay." And I continued about my preparation business. Obviously, she was going to be a little bit tricky, but that's okay because they'll go, and we're going to talk about how to cleanse the resistant ones. But for a good old-fashioned cleaning, and if you've got entities, white sage is the best way to go. Now, when you get started on a cleanse, you'll always want to go to the lowest point. Okay, so like a basement. If there's a basement, you'll go there. Now, entities love cold environments. That doesn't mean your basement is possessed. I'm not saying that, okay? You have to distinguish whether or not the basement is cold because it's a basement, or whether or not you've got that icy feel that often accompanies whether or not an entity is actually there. Usually if it's a demonic entity, you can tend to feel an icy cold chill, and that's a really good indicator that you've got an entity in the room. So use your discernment there. When you are lighting the sage, what you'll want to do is make sure you get a really nice vapor going. And when I'm at home, I stick it in the oven, or the stove, the stove, and I get a really good vapor going. You see that? See, that's wonderful. That's really good. Delicious. So what you're going to do is you're going to start your cleansing from corner to corner. Go to each corner of the room. You're going to go high. You're going to go low. Be sure you look in the closets, okay? Entities love to hide in little cracks and crevices, little nooks and crannies where they think that you're not going to look. So check your closet. Make sure, see, this is wonderful. We've got a nice vapor going here, and you're going to say that you cleanse the energies from north, south, east to west, Father Sky, Mother Earth, through all dimensions of time and space. Now that's really important that you get that phrasing in there, through all dimensions of time and space, because you are not just cleaning this physical space, you are actually cleaning interdimensionally. Okay, your job or your task now is to make sure that any fourth dimensionals, any astral parasites, any archontic energies, any gin, anything that is there that's not supposed to be, is moving on out of that space. So you want to make sure that you are cleaning interdimensionally, not just this third dimensional world. Okay, that's very important. So this is a really good space, or a really good smudge we have going on here. So you'll want to go from room to room to room, working from the bottom all the way up. Get the bathrooms, kitchens, every single room. You'll also want to make sure that you do the outside of the house, okay? Anything that is on the property, you want to make sure that that's nice and clean. Now, when you've got, I'm going to put this down over here, but it gives a cool effect, doesn't it? We'll just put that right there. I usually keep my smudge sticks in a nice little abalone shell. So that's a great and a safe way to hold them so that they're not going to catch anything on fire. Okay, so when I am doing a cleaning and I've got a resistant entity there, one of the things that you're going to want to look for would be physical possessions. They love to manipulate the physical world. Okay, it's a great portal for them to hang on to. They'll latch on to you. They'll latch on to different physical objects. It gives them something to manipulate and a way to stay attached to this physical world. Okay, so when you've got an energy that is flipping on and on life switches, which is very common. Maybe they like to throw books off a shelf or open and close cupboards. What they're really telling you is that I'm still here. Okay, you haven't gotten rid of me. You need to pay attention to me. And usually it's because they don't want to be forgotten. Everybody likes attention to some degree or another, right? This is no different. So this individual that was hanging on when I was cleansing this home in New York, one of the things that I had to talk with the family members about was, one, being willing to let her go. That's a huge one. If you've got an energy that's still hanging around, chances are there's somebody that they're communicating with, or somebody's intention is to keep that individual hanging on. And that's not good for anybody. We've got to get those energies moving into where they need to be next, okay? And the individuals that the family members or the individuals living there need to be able to get on with their life. So we've got to make sure that there are not physical objects that they are attached to. When I was looking in this woman's bedroom, she had a history of walking across the old wood floors, and this had been going on for years. That was her bedroom. She still had clothes in the closet, and her objects, her possessions, were still sitting on the dresser. Now, even though the family is going to be selling the home within a few short months, I asked them, are you okay getting rid of her stuff right now? Because this is her stuff. So she thinks she still lives here. Be sure that you are looking for physical objects that these entities might be attached to, and remove them. Get rid of them. It's just stuff, okay? But they're using that stuff as a portal. So keep that in mind. Now, Pumice Santo, this is a wonderful cleansing agent. I like to use this when my house is already clean. I've done a thorough cleansing, and it's just keeping things nice and grounded. A lot of men are attracted to Pumice Santo because this has a nice earthy smell to it. So this is a really good one, but I will share one of my favorites with you. I love sweetgrass. Oh my goodness, when we did sweat lodges, and I did them for many years, after we did the initial cleansing, oftentimes we used sweetgrass, because sweetgrass will take you into those states of ascension. So when your home is nice and clean, but you want to lift the spirit, take it to a higher dimension, take your mind into that state of ascension, sweetgrass will take you there. This is really divine. I don't know if you guys have had an opportunity to use this, but once your house is nice and clean and you want to elevate and lift, sweetgrass is what will take you there. There are lots of wonderful incense fragrances that can be great for cleansing as well. But these are some of my favorite shamanic methods. One last thing I want to share with you is about crystals. I love crystals, and there are a couple of crystals that I use in particular to make sure that my house is nice and clean. This is selenite. I love selenite. I use selenite to create a grid in the rooms of my house. So I will take, whether it's a big piece like this or a little piece, you can actually get one of these pieces and you can break it up so that you've got several pieces. It's a nice, inexpensive way to create lots of little pieces of selenite. And I will put them in the different corners of my room to make a grid, so that once my house is nice and clean, then this grid keeps everything nice at a nice high vibration. So selenite is great for that. This right here, can you see that? This is citrine. Citrine is a wonderful stone for dispelling negative energies. Now, there are lots of stones that do that, but selenite, citrine, and also this crystal quartz, they're wonderful ways to raise the vibration, dispel negative energies, and keep your space clean. You just cannot go wrong with a nice quartz crystal. This is a wonderful record keeper stone. It creates a nice environment that is high vibrational, and it's one that most people are attracted to. So if you are somebody who's drawn to crystals, you might want to consider using those as a way to keep the environment nice and high in its vibration and cleansed. So hopefully some of these methods will be useful for you. On my website, I do have the sovereign disclaimer. Okay, now that is a great way for you to read through and to create a clean biometric space for yourself and for your house. Nobody has a right to be there unless you invite them. Okay, so that is first and foremost. The power of your mind is your most powerful tool in terms of making sure that you are nice and sovereign. Once you make that declaration, and you can read through that declaration on my website verbatim, that's going to help you clean your energy. It's going to help you clean your environment. Then you can use a nice color in order to make sure that your energy field is nice and strong. Every color has an energy vibration with it, a power, a strength, a psychological meaning. Use whatever color works for you. I love to use a quartz crystal or a gold color. A lot of people like to use the violet flame. My husband likes cobalt blue. So choose whatever color works for you, and make sure that once your energy system is clean, that you're using the power of color to strengthen your field. Okay? Hopefully you guys found this information helpful. It's really important for you to maintain sovereignty over your energy field and your environment. If you have any comments, questions, I would love to hear from you. Just put your comments below, or you can write to me at galacticstoryteller@gmail.com, or you can go to my website, galacticstoryteller.com. Like, subscribe, ding my little bell there so that you can be notified when I put out new information. Nice to see you guys again, and have a great week.